I'm really, really excited to get you in because I can say that you single-handedly got me into this space. You just listen, Matt. I'm working on some special stuff in the past few months. I'm working on automation, and you're gonna tell the story in a second. But do you mind jumping on a call? I just want to showcase something to you. And I jumped on a call, and you showed me AI agents. And can you believe it was like a few months ago, and it already changed so much? And
Crazy.
you told me, listen, Matt, this is what the simple AI agents can do, and I play with it a bit with automation and everything. And you're like, it's only gonna get better than this. That's the worst version. And I'm like, that's amazing. Let me think about it. And you know me, I'm a guy that wants to implement stuff, and I've already been speaking under the group umbrella with my managing partners, with people like Willem that you know personally, with people like Colin that I interviewed for this show, and that the agency game and the service game is about to get really, really changed. And what I mean by that is everything is going to be AI implemented and you will have to adjust. So first of all, give the audience like 1 minute brief about your background and then we can dive into, the valuable stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm honored to be called an AI expert. Thank you. But my name is Andrew Schwitzer. I own and operate an AI automation company specializing in lead generation. Part of this, I owned a lead generation company, and we just added AI to the fulfillment. So now we're a AI company.
Yeah.
Um, Part of that, I also owned a recruiting firm. So a lot of the same principles of lead generation and relationship building and the sort of at scale communication channels applied there as well. I'm also the owner of the AI Mafia, which is an AI invite-only AI mastermind for subject matter experts. By the way, Matan, intended to get you in different industries who are using AI in a serious way. So think, marketing firms, advertising companies. We've got SaaS founders, just people who are using AI in interesting ways at the cutting edge in different industries. And I set that up so that I could see what was happening in all these different, facets and areas of AI. Because what I quickly realized early on is one person could not keep up with the massive amount of data that's coming in every day. The new agents, the new softwares, new SaaS models. So that was really the idea behind that venture. This month, we also launched our first service as a software program, which I believe is going to be one of the sort of cornerstone business models in AI in the next few years, which is essentially you're taking the agency model, you have like maybe 10 automations that you've templated out that you can just set up like that with like a dev team or even automatically, and sort of like stringing them together to sort of take what would typically take a traditional agency, 2 weeks to fulfill in a day. So that's kind of where I'm working on and focused on right now. But yeah, it's great to be here, and thank you, Matan, for the invite. It's
For sure, man. And
amazing.
before we start, just to give the audience a better understanding, I called you an AI expert, an automation expert. You turned to be an AI agent, I said, an AI expert and an automation expert. But in my opinion, from knowing you for a few years already, I feel like you are the network master. And we got connected through a friend of ours. You met him yesterday, Tal. He was my client. He became a good friend, colleague. So we met through him. And then, we just started to network between each other. And you got me introduced to incredible people with the team of real estate, with the M&A, obviously with AI right now. So first of all, I encourage people to approach you in regards of the networks that you have, and you can do business behind the scenes. And it's well connected. You will be surprised. It's not just about AI. It's about investments. It's about marketing. It's about sales. If you will get lucky, maybe you'll get inside of these like specific masterminds and AI Mafia, for example. Maybe I'll earn my way with a new company, Andy. But yeah, I'm very excited. So I prepared a few questions for you, and at the end of the interview, I'm gonna have two questions from our audience, and that means I interviewed a few clients and people that are intrigued. But let's start with the topic of AI agents. So everybody's talking about AI agents. Can you briefly describe to the average right now operator of a B2B company, right? They're doing $50 million, they're doing $60 million, they're doing 150, maybe they're doing even 15. Everybody's talking about it, but can you briefly describe what it is? Because people are, they know what ChatGPT is, Gemini, Claude, now right now, Grok, so many others. But what is the difference between that in an AI agent?
Absolutely. So an AI agent is if you were to give ChatGPT access to a set of tools. Let's say it has access to your Gmail, it has access to your calendar, it has access to your CRM, and you're giving the AI ownership and responsibility to make decisions on its own on which of these tools to use. Whereas ChatGPT, it's more like a co-pilot. It requires a human being in the loop. So you could, use ChatGPT to say, hey, how should I respond to this email? And you copy and paste it and, manually. But an agent, it would read the email, analyze how to respond to it, and then respond to it on its own if you wanted it to. So it just has a lot more autonomy and also a lot more variability in the output.
It's basically like creating like a separate thread via ChatGPT and train it specifically for a reason. But now you have all the integrations. So that's like kind of the
Exactly.
benefit of it. Because always people, when they just got into it, they're like, okay, but I can create a separate thread and I can sync it with APIs and everything. I'm like, no, it's one platform where you can teach it, and then you can even sync it and create a team out of AI agents, and they all get synced. Today, ChatGPT doesn't have the feature. I believe that they're going to have it in the future. And we just spoke about it before we started. They're launching right now a new AI agent, and everybody's launching new AI agents. And I believe that until this podcast will be published, we're going to see so many other AI agents. But that's where we are going, right? We're going to an AI agent world where the 80-20 rule will be affected, right? So you're going to see more tasks like they are being handled by AI agents. And then you as an operator will be able to focus only on the 20 tasks that make you the most money. So that's interesting.
Exactly.
Now, as we mentioned, this topic has been exploding lately in the B2B space because our podcast is focusing on the B2B space. In your opinion, kind of from your perspective, where is the biggest market opportunity for those mid-sized companies to deploy agents and increase revenue, obviously, reduce costs, and see a better valuation? Because a lot of the companies that we speak with, they want to do them both, and then they want to exit potentially or get a strategic partner to invest in them. And I feel like AI agents can be huge for that reason as well.
Yeah, that's a great question. So specifically for mid-sized B2B companies, I would recommend deploying agents primarily at the entry level roles that typically involve client or customer interaction. So appointment setting, lead qualification, customer service, and roles where you can have some small margin of error. Because this is one important point: is AI agents, because yes, they can do a lot more. They can have more flexible and unique outputs and be able to be used in a variety of different scenarios. But with that increased variability, you get a small margin of error. Maybe it's 1%, maybe it's 2%. So you only want to have the agents autonomously working on the important tasks that also you can get wrong, like 1 or 2% of the time, which tends to be those sort of customer service, appointment setting, et cetera roles. As you get higher up in the org chart, I recommend using AI automations, which are automations on Rails. It's more of a binary output, A or B. You don't have to give the agents sort of this autonomous responsibility to make the decision. But in terms of agents specifically, yeah, definitely those sort of entry level human facing roles. If you're talking about automation, then that opens up a whole other swath of possibilities. The whole you can use it to train your team, create an internal knowledge base, FAQs, where now you don't need to takes half as much time to onboard them. You can have automations that, let's say, a new client lead comes in, it updates the CRM automatically, adds all the conversation notes there, analyzes them, pulls them out, sends them to Slack. Like, there are all these on the rails, we call them, meaning like you've set predefined flows that still use AI and automation that can be extremely useful. So like any type of internal efficiency aspect, you can use it for financial analysis, financial modeling. If there's a formulaic component to it, if there's an algorithmic component, if you as a human are using this formula, then this formula, and this formula, and this is how I think about this, and that it's this, and that creates this valuation, you can have an AI do that. And it's insane. I wouldn't use agents for that because it's too much potential variability,
Right.
but workflows, AI, absolutely.
And it's gonna get there, right?
Yeah,
I just want
it's
to
gonna get there.
highlight that everything that we speak about today we are going to develop it, right? So we never
Hmm.
thought that a chatbot can be so smart when we just started with chatbots for like, just common questions and things like that. And it was pretty boring, right? But
Yes.
now it is so smart, so sophisticated. So it's gonna get better and better every day. We just spoke again, before we started, we just spoke about new chatbots that are doing kind of the stuff that you mentioned right now, integrating with one kind of platform. So that's incredible. Now, I want to get you into a recent debate. The marketing splitting right now, and if you can explain the difference, it will be great as well. But kind of specialized, super specific AI agents versus general all-around AI agents. So first of all, if you can speak about kind of the difference, and for a company like that is doing like $50 million plus, mid-market company, which approach, in your opinion, kind of from your perspective, as of today, drives faster ROI and why?
Yeah, great question. Definitely specialized agents. This
Hmm.
sort of goes back to the point about variability in output. Like a general agent is an agent that can check your email. Maybe it can go do your marketing. Maybe it can go, also do the finances. It's essentially your super assistant. But it's an issue with AI, at least right now, is you can't give one agent too many different roles because then it sort of becomes less effective across all of them. So I wouldn't recommend a general agent unless it's for your personal use case, like a personal agent, like
Right.
personal assistant, where the stakes are low. It doesn't matter if it, checked your email wrong today. So definitely specialized agents where they've been trained on a specific workflow in your business, whether it's recruiting, whether it's marketing, whether it's the auditing. You can get those segments really dialed in, trained on a very specific set of data, and in the end, it ends up creating almost this network of different specialized agents anyway, which would have the same result of creating a general agent. So 100% specialized agents are the way to go right now.
I feel like the answer is very simple, right? And we can kind of give an example of you are right now an executive and you're looking to hire talent. You
Hmm.
have your assistant, executive assistant, that would be able to kind of sync the departments and help you personally. And that can be your VA, that can be great if you get one AI agent that will help you with that. While when you are creating departments inside of your company, you want a marketing department, you want a sales department. You don't want one guy to do
Exactly.
everything because this is not how you build a business. Same with AI agents. Now, I think that people are asking this because they still don't have the knowledge to understand how to create specialized AI agents and sync them. Today, we are
Hmm.
going to have the ability to create those agents, as you showed me a few months ago, and you're like, hey, I have like 3 agents and I can sync them to one platform, and I can have like a supervisor agent that will be able to, I will speak with the supervisor and they will do their work. So that's incredible.
Hmm.
And again, I'm mentioning in every podcast, but Sam Altman said, the OpenAI CEO said, we are not far away from a company that is going to generate $1 billion with one team member. So he means that we're going to have one executive and multiple or maybe thousands of AI agents. How do you see that?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we're already seeing nine-figure uh, companies, the AI companies that are very small teams. Don't quote me on the numbers, but Cursor, there's a Cursor, Lovable is a big one. It's like sub 30-person teams, nine-figure plus valuations, and it's
Amazing.
it's uh, it's already happening. It's already happening. You're seeing it's it will definitely happen.
If you thought in 2019, then that evaluations for tech companies were crazy. Right now, we're gonna see those companies on steroids. I feel like the
Yes.
private equity world, right now, we are working with a few of those private equity firms. They're going to buy businesses for a specific multiplier, 3 or 4, get it to be tech enabled, get it to be AI enabled, and they're going to increase the multiply from a 4 to an 8 to a 10 without even increasing the revenue. Obviously, they're going to increase the revenue as well. So they're going to get the EBITDA from 1 to 10 plus the multiplier. So they're going to get massive this space. And listen, I'm not going to speculate right now if AI is going to kind of replace us or whatever, but just for now, for the next few years, this is what is going to happen, right? My next
Yes.
question is those executive of those companies, they are kind of asking, obviously we kind of answer that if AI agents were the hype, we are both biased, But if you can give us another like one real world example of an AI agency that transformed like a business or an operation of a business, and how fast did it pay off? Because everybody's talking about an ROI right now, right? If I'm
Mhm.
going to invest money for you to improve my process or create new departments, or even potentially replace my department, I want to understand ROI wise. If it's going to take me a few years, a few months, like that's kind of the big topic right now with people that we speak with.
Mhm. Yeah, great question. So to be clear, a lot of the stuff that you see on YouTube is hype. A lot of them are demos, they're not production quality. And I understand why you get that impression. And I'll say a lot of it really depends on the use case. But one specific example is a colleague of mine, extremely talented developer. He created an AI agent SEO company.
Mhm.
It completely replaces an SEO department. It's
Right.
crazy. It's one click, does research on the site, finds all the, I don't know the SEO terminology, but like the SEO vulnerabilities. It goes, does all the keyword research, finds the keywords they're missing, then does the research, generates the articles, but then can output. I think it's something like 100 pieces of content per day. And they applied it with a client, and it was like over like 2 or 3 months, it like doubled organic site traffic or something like that. I think it probably varies company to company, but the metrics that they showed me, yeah, it's like it was really really impressive. And they were telling me that some quite large enterprises were interested in it. Some of the names they shared. So that's one example. Another example, maybe on a smaller scale, is another friend of mine. We're actually implementing this into our business, but there is that he they have a real estate seller lead qualification system,
Mhm.
and it's saving them so much time. Seller leads come in through Facebook, it qualifies them, it asks them questions, and then boom, now they have all the details they need. They don't have to go back and ask, oh, how many bedrooms does it have? What's the property location? Or
Right.
how soon are you looking to sell? And those actions, a single rep, obviously, maybe it takes 10 minutes. But if you have thousands of leads, which for most mid-sized companies, leads are not the issue. It's the sort of efficiency, right? It saves so much time on these repetitive tasks. That's another example. Also on the this isn't really an agent, but we use the hyper personalized sort of
Mhm.
email structures in my agency, and with uh, AI capabilities now, like with these AI automations, we can hyper personalize on a level that we never could before. Like, and it's incredible. So that's just a few examples that we're seeing, immediate result from. But they're just some like if someone in your business is currently doing it and it's on the computer, it's online, you have to click some buttons to make something happen, and AI can do it already.
And we can
So
go forever with use cases,
exactly,
right? It's all
exactly.
about give me a segment and I can give you 5 use cases. By the way, under the umbrella of O7X's right now, we are creating right now a file with use cases that our partners did in the past, and we're summarizing. The thing is, there are too many, right? So we need to, kind of, summarize those. But kind of two angles on my end. One of our portfolio companies, also an agency, we are doing those appointment setup services as well and advising. We took a process that took us manually 111 days on average. We took it to less than 7 days. And in terms of the cost and the efficiency and the quality, I guess it's like third, like 3 times better, in my opinion, in terms of the quality of those. Because right now, AI agents can create for the list, get the market research that you need, and you can teach it to create the template. Right. You need to go back and forth with it, but as soon as you have it, it's a bot. It's going to repeatedly get you the same quality. And it has the mechanism to check itself as well. So I'm giving it a score, like give it a score of 1 to 10 when it comes to the script, when it comes to the research. And once it's below 7, rethink it. You see what I'm saying? So that's incredible when you do that in scale. And again, getting a process from 111 days to less than 7 days is incredible. Another one, today you can teach a few AI agents to create the entire funnel for you, right? If you are doing any info products, or maybe right now SEO companies are watching us, marketing firms are watching us, whatever, and you do it for your companies, you're doing webinar for your companies, you're doing obviously, marketing funnels for your companies. The thing is, what you can do is you can teach it, hey, those are the 10 like kind of most profitable funnels that we use in the last 2 or 3 years, model those and create ones for the new company that we have, and it's going to save you so much time when it comes to copywriting and everything. Right, you will still need to sit down on it and supervise it, but it can save you so much time, and it's not the typical ChatGPT kind of word when you just chat with it and create it manually and copy paste and create multiple threads. So that's incredible. And I just saw today, when I woke up today, one of our team members sent me a message where they launched an info product company using AI agents, and in less than like 60 days, they generated more than $27 million, right? So obviously it's about ad spend and everything, but they did a case study when they showcased behind the scenes how they modeled, not copied, they modeled some of the biggest kind of players in that space, and it's an info product. So no inventory, nothing. So incredible, incredible. So after kind of that talk, I feel like we all understand that AI agents promise efficiency, right? But some of the companies we speak with, they a little bit worried about control, right? It can get, people are afraid maybe it's the hype or maybe it's not, but people hear like Elon Musk and they say maybe AI can get out of control in terms of tons of kind of topics. How can a firm today kind of roll out agents across like marketing without risking chaos or bloating costs, for example?
That's a great question. So the cool thing about these AI systems and AI agents, like AI agents are the most, again, like we talked about, the most variable type of AI there is. But you can have just AI standard on the rails AI workflows. You can have just standard automations. AI itself is kind of the buzzword here. The main thing we're doing is creating these efficiency systems. Just as we have been for the past 10 years. It's the more that you cannot get a process wrong, the lower the margin of error has to be for a process, the more you can add rails to that process. Either have a human in the loop, meaning have somebody who checks it. You can create a system of having agents check each other, and then over a long enough period of time, you can see, okay, what's the margin of error, and am I comfortable with that? So you don't have to worry about giving your whole business up to an agent that will make all these independent decisions. It's whatever level of control that you want to give it is okay, because at the end of the day, it's still saving you time. It doesn't have to save you all the time immediately. Over time, it will, and I think it'll go in that direction. But right now, if you can save 50%, or even 30%, that's still massive gains.
Exactly.
So, so that's what I would say as far as risk. As far as cost bloating, all of the language models and AI tech it's a race to zero as far as like per usage. I think setups, like custom setups, will always be sort of this premium model, but the actual usage, once it's built, it's inconsequential.
Yeah.
Unless you're doing, let's say you're sending millions of like AI voicemails a month. Yeah, maybe that'll get up in cost, but I mean, you pay the same person to send millions of voicemails, it's going to be a lot more. So the cost is almost inconsequential related to how much it'll save.
I feel like people are misunderstanding a little bit, as you mentioned, AI versus just automation. Hey, the companies that I speak with, we just want to understand what type of gaps they're having in their business and create an automation system that will help them close that gap and be more efficient. That's it. So AI will not take over their company if they don't want to, but at least for now, AI doesn't have the ability to do that, but we can still use it in order to make ourselves more efficient and reduce costs. That's it. So it's more about filling out the gaps with automation, with specific software versus, okay, I'm going to get, the AI to be the CEO or CMO of my company and make decisions for me. So I don't feel like people really understand what they can do with AI. And this is why speaking with AI agencies right now and software development companies that are focusing on that gaps, like, O7Capital and not your company with, your specific products that can fill up gaps will be ideal. And getting advisory right now is crucial in my opinion, because right now we are in a transition period. That's it. So you're either going to be there or your competitors will be there. You see, either current competitors, but now with AI, you can create, people can create a company in no time, as I mentioned a few seconds ago, and really crush a competition because they really can specialize in one industry. So yeah, that's incredible. Before we dive into audience questions, and I have two, can you share with us something that is super exciting for you personally that you work on on a daily basis, and you're like, man, I'm spending like 2 or 3 hours per day just to diving into this subject or that subject. Maybe it can be current client, current project, something that is like super intriguing for you as Andrew.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the main thing right now is we're launching this service as a software company in the real estate space. It's essentially automating, multiple different processes for real estate agents, brokers, investors. Basically seeing like, can we automate this entire, how much of this real estate business can we actually automate? So what's really intriguing to me is I mean, just the whole process, like the way that we've set it up is that, so still in the process, but let's say we have a sales call. The sales call, we have that transcribed that goes to the AI that analyzes it. We have a standard template system. It pulls all the builds out, creates a proposal, send that off immediately right after the call. And the way that we've set up the fulfillment is really intriguing as well, where the whole fulfillment process is also templated. It's also automated. And it's like, it's just so exciting to see like how quickly we can like turn things around and just see how the market responds to this business. So we spent the last like 2 months, maybe a month and a half setting it up, getting all the pieces in place, and we're really just starting to get to do these lead calls now. But it's just that's what's really been on my mind, and I think this is going to be such a replicable business model to any niche industry. If you can put their entire business, B2B specifically, if you can put their entire business on automation, except for like if it's an in-person, if you're like a plumber, obviously you can't get your robot to do the plumbing yet, but like everything else, you absolutely can.
Right. Especially
because
when
consumers don't.
Services. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think we'll particularly see these sorts of real estate's not really, I mean, I wouldn't call it it's a consumer market in a lot of ways. But AI automations and agents that deal directly with at the consumer level right now, they're really good. It's harder when it's like it has to make like executive decisions, but when it's dealing with consumers who maybe they don't have high expectations of reps or sort of entry level employees, they can replace it.
Right.
So
and people react to it pretty well, and we're gonna see
yes,
more and more acceptance in the market because it's easy. They're not so dumb as we saw like a few years ago, whatever.
yes.
So and it's kind of like a game when you speak with an AI agent, right?
Actually,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sure.
The at least for right now, it has this like people seem to not mind even talking to the AI on the phone because like, oh wow, this is AI. People only don't like it when it's bad.
Right. Of course.
If it's good, people are like, oh, this is interesting, this is novel, and this will probably last for like 6 months, where people still have that kind of novel effect. But like, I would rather if this agent can, like, people don't want to be on the phone, they don't want to talk to a rep, they want their solution made, right? Like I dread like calling to make appointments and stuff like that. It's not a use of time. So if you can like just talk to a robot and have it done in a quarter the amount of time, like massive.
I was in New York and I got to Dallas. And after a few days, I was looking for an apartment complex. And it was during the weekend, so nobody was kind of working. So I was calling a few apartment complexes. And guess what? All of them had an AI agent that spoke with me. And at the beginning, you're not really figuring it out, but then you kind of are. And you just understand kind of the process. You get it through the process because you understand, okay, I can leave a voicemail, and that's kind of the option because they're not working on Sundays or whatever. But then on Monday, everybody came back to me with all the information that I provided to the AI agent. So it was pretty, smooth when it comes to the process. We just need to get used to it. And as you mentioned, if it's going to be bad and stupid, I don't want to deal with that. But if it's going to be efficient and I just need to get specific information and it can be valuable or whatever, no problem. But we're still going to have people that are going to handle specific tasks. While I feel like with most tasks right now, you can do it with AI because in 80% of the time, people are not really asking sophisticated questions when it comes to getting more information. For example, real estate, it's pretty simple process, right? For example, with, let's say, all those kind of lead forms that you fill, right? You can fill it through the phone and the AI agent can do a better job sometimes than just writing questions, right? Writing answers. When you fill out a form in writing, sometimes it's not that effective as you speak with somebody for 5 minutes. So just for that, it can save you so much time. And I believe, again, you're going to see more technologies that are more advanced and you're going to see more sophisticated AI agents. So yeah, that's an incredible
Agreed.
topic. I'm really excited for those industries like real estate. Can you share a few more examples that can use those templatized kind of strategies that you created for
Mhm.
the real estate industry? Just give us a few more examples for people to understand.
Absolutely. So any type of like home services niches. I have a friend who works with like construction companies, and they do a very similar process of anytime you have a lead, coming in through a form, they said, hey, I need, I want this type of pool, or I need like electrician to come by, I need a plumber, any type of home services. I think that's a massive market for this because they're so niche. You just need to be the one who uses AI in an intelligent way, and you will dominate the industry. That's one. Industries like accounting and law, I think they're going to be like kind of the mid tier, the next level up. Like right now, we're starting with the lower level. I won't call
Right.
them lower level, but the most consumer facing industries, helping consumers solve their problems. When it gets to sort of knowledge work like law, accounting, I think insurance to an extent, AI will probably get there fairly soon as well, and being able to walk leads through this sort of standard process that all accountants follow, for example. Um, Legal maybe a bit harder, but yeah, I mean, pretty much any industry that's B2B that you get leads coming in, this system will work for that.
Love it. And by the way, also in Nexus, we'll try to close the gap with all the industries that you mentioned that are going to be kind of later on, like accounting, law. We feel like it will require more customized approach in really sitting down with those
Yes,
executives. So it's going to be a bit harder to create like a template or a product that is going to fit multiple kind of firms. So
yes.
sitting down with them and creating something custom, it will be much more valuable. But I feel like as a sophisticated AI agent today, if he's going to take the first call, the first interaction, the first like kind of qualification call, we'll ask you 3 to 5 specific questions. We'll summarize that and then get it to the kind of law professional to call you back and discuss that. It will be much more effective than the average secretary that will hop on a call with you and kind of do more of the same. And let's be honest, it requires talent. It requires just people, right? Workforce to do that. And it's going to be much more efficient to make those first interactions with people. Because I feel like, especially for those
Exactly.
niches and healthcare as well, by the way, healthcare as well. That can be insurance, healthcare, whatever. Obviously, HR, huge when
Mhm.
you go in and put on your application. I feel like for them, it's even going to be a bit easier instead of just filling up a form and describe it, just describe it verbally to an AI agent
Mhm.
versus just doing it via a form. So if you today, as a consumer, have the option to fill up a form, because law firms are already doing that. They're not like speaking with you right away. They can sometimes make you fill up a form. Why not just doing it through an AI agent and get the tonality, get everything, and get a summarization versus just filling up a form? This is where we are not replacing the human. We're just making the automation more effective. That's it. Instead of filling up a form, you can just call an AI agent and describe your needs, and that's it. It's like sending a voice memo versus writing down everything. And you know me, I like to send voice memos of 7 minutes. So I'm not going to write it. That's for sure. It's your problem. So yeah, so that's incredible. I'm very excited about this one. All right. So 2 questions from the audience. We're going to answer them real quick. So
Mhm.
one question is, hey, Matt, we are seeing AI agents handle basic marketing tasks like email sequences, but our enterprise clients, that's a marketing agency, want more. Looking out to 2020, let's say 2030, how do you see agents integrating marketing and sales, like predicting the exact moment a lead's ready to buy and
Mhm.
triggering a pitch? We kind of spoke about it a little bit, while keeping our operation delivery flawless. What's the tech hurdle we need to crack?
Mhm. It's a great question. And actually, so it's more of a data hurdle than a tech hurdle.
Yeah.
If you to have the AI just be just completely intuitively and in tune with what it needs to say and when, and basically be in like difficult to tell the difference between an AI and like your top salesperson. It just comes down to data. So you want to train your AI, and this is something that we were actually looking to do in the real estate, is train your AI on massive amounts of communication data. You say, hey, this is the
Mhm.
whole customer relationship that led to a sale. Boom. Then now that's a reference point. Here's the whole customer relationship that led to them leaving us. Now they churned. Here's the whole, and collecting thousands of these data points. And over time, yeah, the AI will be able to do more with less data, but data is king. data is the most important. It's like the currency of the AI world. So the more data that you have, you could feasibly do this right now. But the issue is the data, and a lot of people are not tracking as much as they need to be. So I would say the hurdle is the data, and then obviously over time, the tech itself will be able to do more with less of that.
I feel like when you are a marketing agency and you qualify the client, and when they say, "What can you do for me?" I'm like, "We can do everything." Like, let's say a full service marketing agency or like a law firm, even. Like, how can you help me? Like, please describe. I need data in order to create a solution for you. Let's say law. It's a great example because with law you have 20,000 scenarios, right? Especially with like sophisticated law, cases. You need enough data. So here's another tip. Why not use an AI professional like Andy, like O7X's, to sit down with you and create an AI agent that will pull the data that you need out of your current sequences, and then help the next AI agent to create the automation. That's where people don't get it. I feel like we need to understand how to help the AI agent to do the job for us, and not just give it a task and wake up a day after and assume that everything is fixed. So that's huge. But data for sure. My last question from the audience is, hey Matt, our clients are giants with messy legacy systems. We see it a lot, by the way. Think CRMs from the 90s, with, I don't know, maybe 1 million leads. 5 years from now, what's one AI agent capability that could overhaul their marketing, personalization, sales, forecasting, and service logistics in one swoop? And how do we pitch it to them? So, you can do that and we can be AI geeks behind the scenes, but when we need to speak with those super old school enterprises, it can be wealth management firms, or even construction, you said, or whatever industries, manufacturing. They're like, Andy, we made billions of dollars in the past few years. Don't interrupt the current system. So I feel like that's kind of the last question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The answer is, if they're not, a lot of them will probably be outcompeted by small teams that can execute and have immediate access to the data. If you, again, like we said, data is the currency. If you can't reliably extract that data from your 90s CRM, most likely there's no it's hard to interact with. Then, or maybe not most likely, but if it's hard to interact with, you just won't be able to compete. You won't be able to take it out. And I think how it's going to happen and how this adoption is going to happen at the enterprise level is one company is going to lead the pack, post earnings, some ridiculous earnings. They're like, oh my God, how did they do that? And all the other companies are going to get FOMO and they're going to say, we have to do this now. We have to do this. It's like how all companies were like, oh, we need to be on the blockchain. It's like that, but actually exactly. If you don't do it, you're going to be, they're going to be left behind, unfortunately. And, it's going to be messy. It's going to, I think over time, there are agents that can go in and collect data. I think computer use agents will become better and better, so they can go back to your legacy systems and manually extract things. But unless you have access to that data that the AI agents can use, it's just they're not going to survive, unfortunately, in my opinion.
Yeah. I'm there as well. But here's a kind of an interesting perspective. This is what I feel. I feel like, yes, you're going to have early adopters, like we have with everything, that are intrigued and will have the budget. And you're going to have C-level executives that are creative and they want to do it anyways, to develop something, to have a department, to have it in hand. If they need to use it, they have it. Now, you're going to have those who are super old school, don't want to do anything. And it's going to be almost impossible to pitch that to them. And as Andy mentioned, they're either going to be kind of the only ones that don't do that. And listen, you have so many construction companies that are making billions of dollars and they don't even have a website. So I'm not even speaking about AI. So you're still going to have those old school companies, manufacturing, like blue collar, whatever. But in my opinion, you're going to have the mid segment where you're going to see pressure from those institutions. So you're going to have JP Morgan, and you're going to have Goldman Sachs, and you're going to have huge institutions like BlackRock and Blackstone that own a portion of those public companies and those big enterprises. And they're going to say, guys, the agenda for today is to implement AI into your business. That's it. So they're going to actively look for AI solutions. You see what I'm saying? So you don't really need to convince them because they have the mandate to go after those solutions because let's say, BlackRock invested in AI technology. So I feel like they're going to buy companies that are specializing in AI and they're going to get more and more. So getting into this space as let's say you are a service provider and you have those giant companies, getting into the space, I feel like it's going to be a huge advantage. And one more tip that I have is why not show them use cases? Andy mentioned
Hmm.
like a typical, right? Typical scenario when one company sees their competition blows them, and that's a use case. Why not just create it behind the scenes, create a few demos, create a few use cases, and just showcase how you can improve one or two systems. That's it. So that's for the marketing folks that are trying to kind of transition and are pretty afraid to do that because of their clients. But I feel like just sitting down with your clients and explaining them that this is where we're at right now, and you either do that and make your company more efficient, or somebody is just going to crush you. And yeah, nothing better than showing them the results. Perfect. And
Hmm.
it was like we had this like out of Zoom. Okay, now it's good. We did it so quickly, man. It's like been 50 minutes, like nothing.
It's crazy. Time flew.
So yeah, for
Time
sure.
flew.
And for people who want to work with you, maybe some in the real estate space, maybe some just want to get consulting from you, how they can approach you directly.
Sure. You can add me on LinkedIn, send me a message. My name is Andrew Schwetzer, Shwetzer. You can reach me at andrew@shwetzer.com. And for anything real estate related, you can reach me at andrew@reag.ai. And happy to chat. Just say you came from the O7 podcast.
Exactly. Love it, Andy. I really, really appreciate the insights that you share and your time. It was incredible. And until next
Was
time, thank you, Andy.